Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bishar Ali Sadri, Waysali Abri, Alul Ubdatir Misani, Yafko Koli. This is Dr. Adnan Kadir. Uh, my new course today is Urban Transportation Planning. It is coded as CE 561 in your syllabus. So let's discuss what is a transportation planning. But before we discuss transportation planning, let's start with the term called transportation. What is transportation? Transportation is the way to communicate between two points, that one is the origin and the other is the destination. For every person who born in the world, bring with him a transportation demand, and that ends till is conveyed to his grave. So with every person born, there is a transportation demand. And when we talk about transportation plan, it's all about meeting the demand of the people, demand of the population. When we say transportation engineering and we say transportation planning, actually they are the same thing. You can say it's the it's the same side of coin. And we say when we mean planning, we means coming up with an efficient infrastructure to meet our needs for accessibility and mobility. And this cannot be done without the proper understanding of the human behavior. Because whatever you plan, and if it is not consistent with the human behavior, that plan will fail. That design will fail and that infrastructure will fail. So, keeping the human psychology out of transportation planning will not help. We all know that in order to grow your city well, to grow your country well, you have to have an efficient transportation system that is connected to all parts of a city. And this planning, design, and operation analysis is very essential and is connected to the human nature. So, what a transportation system, it depends on the prosperity of a nation, and it depends on the economic and social development. It brings lot of social development. For example, if you design a BRT route, this will bring many people in employment. For instance, the people working in a petrol pump, the people working in a service area, the people working for, fixing of the tire, the puncture people, those who are driving the vehicle, those who are operating the vehicle, those who are managing, things around the track, those who are cleaning, those who are providing the intelligent transportation system, those who are looking out the maintenance of the buses, those. So with every route developed, an additional job is created. This is how the nation prospers. In order to understand, to plan effectively, there are analytic method, and that analytic method help us to understand and predict human travel behavior. And it is, there since 1970s. So what is the aim? The aim is to provide a comprehensive and in-depth guide to new theories, methods, and tools for the transportation planners. So let's highlight what are the transportation problems in megacities. We all know that the city is grown, and because of the influence of the people, naturally and from the migration, these are creating serious challenges to the development of adequate infrastructure facilities. And this combined with haphazard and unplanned development of the served area of reach, with little or no provision of infrastructure, heterogeneity of traffic characterized by motorized and non-motorized vehicle traffic. And if you are nowadays in Pakistan, there is another traffic form of vehicle known as cycle rickshaws, motorcycle chinchis, motorcycles having, some loading arrangement. That has also creating a lot of panic in the traffic. So with all this heterogeneity, the traffic is difficult to manage. Obviously, whatever you do, whatever management an engineer or planner can do, if enforcement are not taken, it will fail. In the classic definition of traffic planning or traffic engineering, they say it was about 4 E's: engineering, education, enforcement, and environment. So all those are very critical component, and if one of them fails, the whole system collapses. And with the travel demand exceeding the available supply, infrastructure, rapid growth in motorization leads to the congestion and higher rate of accidents. One of the reason is, the banking policies in past who for the sake of their business uh, gave away vehicles on easy installments and with a focused the salaried class person, the middle class people or the lower middle class, and that's why all of a sudden the growth rate of the motorized vehicles has grown up, which obviously has created a lot of demand, has created a lot of pressure on the transportation infrastructure facilities. Obviously, when there is a growth of the traffic, there will be higher rate of accidents. And that's because the pedestrians who are moving on the road and the motorized vehicles, they are moving on the road, and each one of them think about their right of way, their domain, and sometime when one of them cross its domain, then this accident happens. Also, more traffic has created more traffic noise, so, and consequently resulting in air pollution. And, the satisfaction of having own vehicle has this desired, and that's why one of the reason is that there are lack of mass transport facility, as well as even if it is that there are facility, people are not willing to leave their car. When we talk about non-motorized transportation, we mean things like walking, bicycling, small wheel transport, push scooters, skates and hands, and wheelchair travel. Now, as the cities sprawl, the share of non-motorized traffic reduces drastically creating increased reliance on private modes of transportation. The urban design that fosters walking, cycling is under threat as sprawl-based urban design is becoming the norm in big cities. Megacities in the past have neither invested in infrastructure for NMT nor have a formal public transport alternative to prevent shift to personal transport mode. Sidewalks and cracked cycle cracks are the most neglected in infrastructure planning. The city's poor are captive use of walking and cycling, but most neighbors have either poorly constructed footpath or even it is there, they are being encouraged by the shop owners, by the people, and by some other factors. Maybe sometimes it also has been used by the motorcyclists, even the motorists park their car. So that is causing a less space for the pedestrian to move. So this has created a lot of burden on transportation planning. Various number of issues emerging after identifying the major problems and constraints in the transport sector, and this need to be addressed. The goal of urban transportation must address the efficiencies as well as the equity. As the poor generally walk and bicycle to the work, the provision of facilities is mostly absent in the most of the cities. Transportation plan so far lacks the component of transportation integral with respect to land using. For instance, in city like Karachi, there are a lot of schools, the marriage halls that are situated right on the main road without an adequate parking facility, and the schools, the education, centers, the coaching centers with nothing planned for their parking has created lot of nuisance in traffic management. One failed to understand why a school or in sectors like the marriage halls are allowed to operate on the main road. We have an existence on the main road as well as without any parking or pick and drop facilities. So once this cannot be done, the whole system, the non-user of these facilities suffers a lot. So the land use plan not only be, implemented, but also be rethink of. We need to have a concept of sustainable transport system so that the society suffers less. It should include bicycle rickshaw, battery operated car. So what are the policies of transportation planning? Obviously, it should be of green energy sources, energy efficiency, and environmental protection, the main focus. What are the vision? To recognize that people occupy center stage in our cities, and plan would be for the most common benefit and well-being. To make our cities the most livable in the world and enable them to become the engines of economic growth that power development in the 21st century. To allow our cities to evolve into an urban form that is best suited for the unique geography of the locations and best placed to support for the main social and economic activities that take place in the city. To encourage growth along low carbon path. As we also know that the transportation related carbon dioxide emissions are expected to increase by 57% in the period this in 2005 to 2010. Avoid, reduce, shift, improve approach. And as a matter of fact, this has been addressed to some extent. Now we have electrical cars that are being, or hybrid cars that are being introduced in the system. But again, once you are adopting a car, hybrid cars, or the electrical cars, you will again have a burden on your energy. How those electrical charges, electricity will be produced to compensate more than cars. So what we are doing actually, we are solving one problem at the and creating another problem. Imagine what would happen if the battery stops working. The battery is redundant. Where you are going to throw those batteries? That's another challenge the world will face maybe after 25 years ago. So though it looks that you have, control the carbon dioxide efficiency on one end, but on the other end, it will create a solid waste management in the future. So this also need to be addressed. Now, what is a sustainable transport? It is to avoid, reduce, shift, improve. The infrastructure is provided in such a way that the future demand is reduced or avoided. Travel is shifted to more economical, environmental friendly modes, and we have major improve the vehicle fleet and fuels. So the three components of the sustainable transport, when we say avoid or reduce, we say reduce the need to travel. Integration of transport and land use planning, smart logistical concepts, work from the home are some of the tools that we can use as the short-term measures. Then there should be a shift. Shift to more environmental friendly modes, transport, demand management, mode shift to non-motorized transport, mode shift to public transport. Overall, you have to make those the transportation system, mass transportation, more attractive to the people. Otherwise, the shift will not take place. Mind us that the people realize and think that there is no alternate to private transport. So that mindset is only be changed by providing an efficient public mass transportation system. As far as the improvement, it means the efficiency of transport, low friction lubricants, optimal tire pressures, low railing resistance tires, speed limits, fuels like biodiesels, biogas. These are some of the shift. Eco-friendly hybrid vehicles like that. And with the objective of that transportation policy would be achieved through comprehensive approach, include urban transportation planning, infrastructure design, the public transport, the non-motorized transport, traffic management, financing, governing, and capacity building. Now, incorporating urban transportation as an important parameter at the urban planning stage rather than being a consequential requirement, bringing about a more equitable allocation of road space to people rather than vehicles. Public transportation should be citywide, safe, seamless, user-friendly, reliable, and provide good ambience with well-behaved drivers and conductors. Walk and cycle should be safe mode of urban transportation, introducing intelligent transport system. Concerns of road safety should be addressed. Raising finances through innovative mechanism. Institutional mechanism should be established for enhanced coordination. The institutional and manpower capacity should be built to plan for sustainable urban transport and establishing knowledge-based systems. Now we stop here and we'll continue in the next lecture where we talk about the basics definitions in transportation plan. So till then, we'll take a break here. See you in the next lecture.